as I... very...
Citizens, it is time.
Time to go to the theater.
Citizens, we have a quorate body of voters gathered here to elect the city's magistrate. The candidates are Sextus Sentius Imperiosus and late nominee Gallus Galerius Helva. Marcus Malleolus Gurges withdrew his candidacy earlier today. As agreed, we shall dispense with ballots and candidates will abstain from voting. Let's make this quick. As I say your name, call your vote. I'll start with you, Horatius.
Sentius, of course.
Georgius.
Galerius. He saved the life of my dear friend Fabia.
Dacius.
Galerius.
Virgil.
Sentius.
Ulpius.
Galerius, the man who saved my life.
Rufius.
The man who treated my rheumatism. Galerius.
Citizens, you have made your decision. Your new magistrate is Gallus Galerius Helva.
What?
It has been decided. Magistrate Galerius, would you like to make a brief address?
I just want to say, this isn't something I ever wanted. Now that you put your trust in me, I'm going to do everything I can not to let you down. I'll need some time to put together a list of the changes I want to make around here. But I promise you, there will be changes. My first order is that Dooley is to be freed. Horatius, release him from his cell immediately. Please. Wait, do I need to say please? I suppose not. That's it. You can all get on with your day. Nothing else to see here. Move along.
That's quite an impressive bow you have there. Just like Diana's.
Good talk.
Fortune smiles on you today, Julius. Magistrate Galerius here has ordered your release.
You're going to let me out of here?
I'm sorry it took so long, my friend. And it wouldn't have happened at all if it wasn't for a newcomer. So be sure to offer your thanks when you can.
I will. I will. Thank you, Galerius. I'm so happy.
I'd love to stay and chat, but I've got a lot of work ahead of me. Why don't you go to the baths? Then tell Georgius I said you could have some new clothes. Then I want you to go home and rest. I'll speak with you soon, Dooley.
Hello? I'm Dooley. Oh, thank you. You're a big helper. I was locked up, but they let me out again. I'm so happy. You can have my shiny plaque, and maybe you can help me find my friend Hannibal used to look after me. And he said he always, but before that, He gave me a key to the systems. And please help me find it. Please. Oh, thank you.
Сядь.
Hope you find it. In the system. Oh, look over there.
Maybe it is treasure.
I can see it for myself. So,
Сохранить игру. Так,
and it's just lying out here.
собрать ку. На арабском что ли говорит? Не знаю. Так. Ку. У меня тут что-то опять были какие-то странные вылеты, блядь. Это меня не сильно радовало. Не знаю, может опять будет вылетать, блядь. Я не знаю, что-то случилось. Что-то работает не так, как надо.
Что планируешь делать сегодня?
Я планирую пройти вот эту игру. Вроде бы осталось не так много. Как мне кажется. Потом можно зайти поиграть в War Thunder. Ну и еще всякое разное.
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
Класс. Да и быстро. Быстро же.
Керри. Я КРЧ вчера фанился с друзьями, я тундре до часа ночи.
Нормально, чё. Ох уж этот дули. Нельзя выпускать. Кстати. Везет тебе. Я вчера пошел спать, потому что так спать хотелось пипец.
Керри. Планирую еще сегодня повторить. Хочешь с нами?
Да не знаю. Сомневаюсь. Я вчера фана не очень много получил.
Salve, friend. Mind telling me? Oh. Yulia. Poor Virgil. Poor. All right. What? Are you? You're serious, huh? I'll go.
Так, конечно, все очень интересно. Надо туда бежать.
The 49 melodies fetch again. With incessant
Ну, странный дули что-то делает. Не то.
Keep an eye out for Centilla, would you?
Isn't the great temple majestic?
Стонет. Руфи стонет. Ух ты, уже свободен. Уже свободен или не свободен? Блин.
You. Who are you? Did he send you? Do you know you're here? You. I'm Scintilla. I found a way out through the gate of Horn, but it's locked. So I told him about it, and instead of helping me escape, he wants to keep us all here forever. Or until we're turned to gold.
Кто он?
You have to let me go so we can kill him. Sentius, my adoptive father. Furies help me. I'll castrate and crucify.
Сенти, понятно.
I don't know. He said the gods are on his side because they don't want us to escape either. Behind me, there's an aqueduct tunnel bringing water from outside the city, so it should lead us outside. The only problem is it's barred by a heavy locked gate, and he has the only key. I'm going to take that key from around his neck. I'm done caring about the golden rule. There won't be enough time. Just you. There's no time. Wait, did you hear that? He's... Oh, thank you. Now follow... Wait, did you hear that? He's here. He must be coming in through the door behind me. You distract him. Stay right here and keep him talking while I look for something I can use.
Что-нибудь. Я и правда притопала.
What did you do with Scintilla? Where is she? So that is how it's going to be. Oh well,
Ахахаха,
this doesn't
зайди
change
в
anything for
Discord.
me.
Вот
It's a
спасибо.
shame, really. If you'd just done what you were supposed to, you'd have been looping through
Сейчас.
life forever until you gave up and killed yourself. Just like that soft-hearted pleb, Al.
Так, зайди в Discord. Давай, зайдем в Discord. Вроде работает все хорошо. Странно, странно, что все хорошо работает. Странно, что оно вчера не вылетало, а теперь вылетает. Какой-то бред, блядь. Не, ну насчет я черешня, это я видел. Это я видел.
Surely you didn't think you were the only one here who remembered everything. You see, my connection to the portal somehow preserves my memories from one minute to the next. Whether that was for certain misintention or a happy accident, I don't know.
Чек
But I'm
еще раз.
surprised you hadn't
Я
noticed.
вышел.
Here I was thinking you were a little bit sharper than Al was. Or perhaps you're just more willing to break the rules. He was a moralistic fellow, never once compromised on his principles. And because of that fatal flaw, he relived this day many thousands of times.
Многие тысячи
before we
раз.
finally had this
Нормально.
conversation. I watched him come through the portal each time, always a little older, a little more disheveled, a little more haunted. And when he finally saw the futility of it all, as you're about to, it broke him. He drank a jug of wine, tied a noose around his neck, and took his own life, just before he was shot with a golden arrow. The next time I awoke, you showed up, but you've caught up to where he was so quickly. I'd have preferred if you'd given me more time to enjoy the trappings of my success. How many extra days did you give me? Just the 6. Not a lot compared with now, but I've seized every day, nonetheless. In any case, there's no escape for you except the path that Al took, the path he wrote about on his tablet. What was it? Ah, yes. Better to end it all now than find out what awaits you beyond that portal. So, you've discovered my secret. So what? What are you going to do about it?
Знаешь, что у меня ничего не получится, что если даже сам понять.
Why? Isn't it obvious? Because I have grown attached to all this. My title, my beautiful villa, the sun on my face, the music of birds chirping. And as long as this day keeps repeating itself, I get to enjoy it all, over and over again, for eternity. Don't you see? I have found a way to prolong my life indefinitely, to cheat death. I have become, in effect, as immortal as the gods. Can you honestly say you would not wish the same for yourself? Of course. There's no way you could have succeeded. Every soul who has ever found themselves here has broken the golden rule eventually. It is inevitable. Man will always sin sooner or later. Any
Ты
idiot
заходил
could
в
tell you this.
Discord.
But where
Я
others
не
might see
заходил.
tragedy, I saw opportunity. As I told
Я
you the
могу
first
сюда
time we met,
написать
I found a
прикол.
way to cheat death. By reliving
Напиши.
the same day over and over again forever. And I will continue living long after your dust. Do you really think you could take on a Decurion with that flimsy little bird? Who? Scintilla? Where is she?
I'm right here, Father.
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
Come on, we have to go. Hey, what's happening to you?
Там такой я.
That light, it's so bright.
Создать временной парадокс. О, нормально. Поговорить в целом.
Hi there. Gave me a bit of a fray. Thought I was in here alone. I'm Al. Well, here I am. I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name. Funny you should ask. I was just reading an old tablet I found here. Well, trying. My Latin is kinda rusty, but the last entry mentioned someone with the same name. It described an event about 2,000 years ago. Someone with your name appeared in the city out of the shrine of Proserpina. Freed an imprisoned woman named Scintilla, who then murdered her captor, breaking some kind of ancient law. It said the attack caused golden statues to come alive, hunting down everyone in the city and turning them into gold. Apparently, the only person to survive was Scintilla. The stranger disappeared in a flash of light.
Керри. Ползут два наркомана по железной дороге, один другому говорит, чёт лестница длинная. А другой
You're
ему
saying you were
отвечает,
here
вон уже
2,000
лифт
years ago.
едет.
I'm not sure I understand. I'm sorry, come again? Let me see that. God, why does this writing look so familiar? I've spent a lifetime in this place going around and around in circles. This is disturbing. But I don't understand how I could have written it. I'm not following. So you're saying, because a man from 2,000 years ago is dead, he never created a time portal, so I never went through it, and that's why I don't remember any of this. I guess you saved my life then, as well as helping that poor woman to escape. That's a lot to take in. Maybe we can escape through the same aqueduct Centilla used, if we can find it.
Ну, пошли. Акведук. Инвентарь остался пустой. Инвентарь-то пустой.
I'm gonna pause here for a moment and make sure nobody else is in. You go on it.
Но я еще один квест там не сделал, надо было его сделать.
You're back. But you're alone. Oh, what a relief. Thank you so much. I was beginning to think you'd both become trapped in there. Why don't you tell me what you discovered while we wait?
Ah, I see. I thought you might. Well, now you know. I suppose you have questions. You can just call me Carol, if you like. I am sorry I was not completely honest with you when we first met. I do not enjoy deceiving people. Believe me, I do not. But I have learned, from 5,000 years of experience, that most people find comfort in familiarity, in gradual change, and coming to see the truth in their own time. That you died, of course. You were dead when I brought you here. My role, as the servant of the god of the underworld, has always been to assist the chosen to cross the threshold from the land of the living to the land of the dead. Usually, when people do not remember how they died, it is because they suffered a terrible trauma. Most souls would rather not remember. Ask yourself honestly, do you really want to know? As you wish. You were murdered. You made a purchase in a marketplace, and the change you received was, by mistake, a single silver coin of ancient origin. You were seen inspecting it, and soon after, you were set upon by 2 thieves. The shopkeeper who had given you the coin saw the scuffle break out and leapt to your aid. You both fought bravely, but your assailants were armed, and you were not. There was nothing you or your ally could have done. He died instantly at the scene, and you followed a few hours later. That man's name was Al Worth. You were each in possession of a sacred coin, called Karen's Opal by some, and so it was my duty to bring you here. Perhaps you have heard the tales of the Greeks and Romans burying their dead with a coin in their mouths.
Да, знакомо.
To pay the ferryman for passage across the river. Well, those stories contained a seed of truth, but not any coin would do. A long time ago, my master created 1,000 silver coins and had me distribute them across the world. My orders were simple. Whenever a person died in possession of a coin, I was to locate them and ferry them here. That is a question you would have to ask him, if that were still possible. In light of the path you have chosen, I am just his servant, doing his bidding. Only now, I find myself bereft of purpose. You see, the coins on you and Al were the last of the 1,000 in existence. There is nobody else to ferry here. Nobody to keep you company. After 5,000 years, the underworld has finally run its course. I see no point in keeping you here, but I have to ask one thing. That you keep this to yourself.
Look! Here comes Al now. Al! It's so good to see you. You were gone so long I thought I'd never see you again.
Kinda lost track of time in there. You wouldn't believe what we found. The ruins of a long-forgotten city. And there was a tablet describing an event 2,000 years ago. Supposedly, the city was destroyed when a woman murdered a tyrant with the help of, well, my new friend here. I know how crazy that sounds.
Maybe not that crazy. That woman. I don't suppose her name was... Scintilla?
How could you... What?
She left a tablet of her own. I stumbled across it while I was waiting here. I think she meant for you to read it. Here, take a look.
I don't know what became of you, or if you'll ever read this, but I want you to know that I will never forget you, or what you did for me. It pains me that so many dear friends were not so fortunate. Ulpius, Cynthia, Lucretia, Horatius, Galerius, poor Dooley, and the others. But please understand, their blood is on my hands, not yours. I will live with the consequences of my actions, and all—
Sounds like you meant a lot to her. I'd love to hear your story, but first, you two look exhausted. Why don't you hop in my boat and rest while I ferry you back to civilization?
Sounds good to me.
And you? Are you ready to go home?
Хорошо. Отвези нас домой. Концовка 2 из 4. Ага, 6 концовки. Нажмите skip, чтобы контролировать. Ну, по идее, самая лучшая концовка. Факт. Так, интересно, интересно. Интересно.
Help me. Please. And it... It hurts.
продаем. Монет. Интересно, интересно. Бля, дверца.
What now? I have a message from Malleolus.
Yeah? Who's it from?
The Emperor. He knows Malleolus's real name is Quinctius, thanks to Claudia, and demands he withdraw from the election.
Интересно.
Citizen.
Давай поговорим с божеством. Все таблички есть, пойди. Пойти в великий храм. Произнеси его имя. Храм что-то более здоровый, чем снаружи. А. Уже близко. Андрей. Наконец-то мы встретились.
And here you are.
А вот ты.
Allow me to introduce myself. As you have already gathered, I've been known by many names. Nergal to the Sumerians, Osiris to the Egyptians, Hades to the Greeks, and Pluto to the Romans. But the one constant through it all has been my title, God of the Underworld. And I've been watching you with curiosity, mortal, ever since your time. You are unlike the others, aren't you? And what is more, you carry a weapon that was never intended for mortals to wield, and you do it so brazenly that there will be time for your reckoning later. First, as a reward for undoing the desecration of my obelisk, I will allow you to satisfy your curiosity. Ask what you will. My story is many thousands of years long. You will need to be more specific. It is a matter of perspective. God is a label your ancestors revered me because to them, my knowledge and technology made me incomprehensibly powerful. Just as you might seem so to an insect. But despite all that, there are rules even I must obey. My kin and I all adopted this form long ago, so that we might better understand and communicate with your In time, we grew fond of the sensory delights it affords. Desire, joy, ecstasy, even rage and sorrow, while an acquired taste can be addictive. No. Long ago, I swore to Persephone that I would remain in this form for as long as we remained among your kind. I must honor that. This is my beloved. Like me, she has been known by many names. Ereshkigal to the Sumerians, Isis to the Egyptians, Persephone to the Greeks, and Proserpine to the Romans. Or perhaps you might know her as the goddess of springtime, the cycle of life and renewal. Your gaze lingers too long. That is my servant. You would have met by the river, though she wears many faces and goes by many names. Kumutubal to the Sumerians, Kirti to the Egyptians, Charon to the Greeks, and Charon to the Romans. Her role is to ferry souls between the mortal world and this one, and to make their transition as seamless as possible. For that, she earned herself the infamous, if erroneous, moniker, the Ferryman. You will talk more later. For now, ask your questions. As you wish. It has come to be known simply as the Underworld, and it exists because of a wager I made long ago. That is a long story, one that began over 3,000 years ago and continues to this day. You see, long ago my kin and I set out from our home on Elysium to search for other forms of life among the stars. We discovered your planet and witnessed your kind evolving from primates into something lawless and barbaric. You all but destroyed yourselves, your 2 short lives being extinguished by violence and ignorance and disease. Yet Proserpine saw raw potential in you, and persuaded the rest of us it would be squandered without our intervention and stewardship. So we revealed ourselves to your people in a place called Sumer. We offered guidance in agriculture, toolcraft, and law. You called us gods. For a time we flourished, but soon you were too many for us to oversee. And as you spread from that cradle of civilization, we saw something disturbing. We had sown the seeds of dependency and confusion, and soon you returned to your old ways of violence and ignorance, this time in our name. My kin had seen enough, and gave up on your kind, condemning you as barbaric and chaotic, scarcely more than animals. We began preparations to return to Elysium, our home world, a utopia unspoilt by conflict and unimaginable in its beauty. But my Proserpine could not bear to abandon your kind without guidance, and knowing it would force the rest of us to leave her behind, she made an extraordinary sacrifice. She gave up her immortality to descend permanently to the ranks of humankind. And so she began her inescapable trajectory toward death. Horrified, I acted swiftly. I placed her in suspended animation in a deep frozen sleep to prevent age and sickness from claiming her. And then I pleaded with Prosperpine's father, who the Romans called Jupiter, to bring her with us to Elysium. It was and is my hope that once there, we might one day learn to undo what she has done to herself. But he refused. I did everything I could to persuade him, but he would not relent. He would rigidly uphold his final pronouncement. Humans were unworthy of ascension to Elysium, and no exceptions would be made. But seeing that I was aggrieved, he proposed a wager, the terms of which were as follows. If even one human city could prove itself capable of living without sin for a single year, then Proserpine and all of humanity would be permitted to join us in Elysium. My part would be to remain behind.
Да еще тот.
To watch over you, without interfering, and to sit in silent judgment. And so my reward has been to languish here, enduring a 3,000-year winter, waiting for the day your kind proves itself worthy of her faith in you, so that I might take her with me to Elysium and unthaw my goddess of springtime. And here I am, after all this time.
Вот сколько смотрю, не понимаю сюжет.
Ну, сюжет в том, что ты такой просыпаешься возле речки, рядом стоит чувиха, говорит: чел, пошел в лес, пойди спаси. Ты такой идешь спасать, попадаешь в чудо-город, в котором, если кто-то украдет или убьет, или еще что-то нарушит, появятся золотые статуи, которые вас убьют, ну, превратят всех в золото. И ты, типа, можешь, типа, ну, отматывать время в временной петле, чтобы этого не произошло. Ну и чувак, типа, тебе говорит главный, типа, ты-ка разберись, кто нарушает правила. И ты такой разбираешься. Вот видишь, я уже дошел до подземного, до бога.
There were also gods who, like me, have been known by many names, but perhaps you knew them by their Roman names. Our leader Jupiter, as well as Neptune, Saturn, Juno, Minerva, Mars, Venus, Apollo, Diana, Vulcan, Vesta, Ceres, and of course, my beloved Priscilla.
Керри. И окажется, что Бог нарушает.
Ну, с одной концовки мы увидели, что нарушает вообще кто-либо, вообще постоянно кто-то нарушает. Но проблема лишь в том, что суть этого города, почему он его поддерживает, это правило, потому что, видишь, он свою жену хочет, типа, вернуть в место, откуда они, типа, прилетели. И ему нужно, типа, целый год, чтобы никто не нарушал. И пока мисс этого не случилось.
As the first wave of your kind arrived from Sumer, I had them build a city in their own fashion, so that they might be comfortable and recreate their lives here. I had them build the entrance as a vertical shaft leading to baths, to cleanse them of the sins of their former lives, and to prevent escape. I watched wave after wave of Sumerians arrive, and as their civilization declined over the centuries, they were replaced by Egyptians. Of course, believing themselves to be the superior civilization, the Egyptians promptly built over what had been built before, and made all the same mistakes. After another 1,000 years, the Greeks began to arrive.
Пока мисс не знаю. Пока мисс я у него спрашиваю вопросы.
They built upon the underworlds of their
Он рассказывает, как было.
named their gods and ensured their foundations were forgotten. To ensure the wage was fair, it was important that my subjects were chosen at random. To this end, I had my servant distribute 1,000 tokens fashioned from silver, a rare element at the time, across all of Sumer. Whoever died while in possession of one of them would be located by my servant and ferried to this place, with no memory of how they arrived. As the tokens were discovered, they were traded, smelted, and fashioned into trinkets, and eventually coins, spreading to Egypt like seeds on the wind. Later, when they spread to Greece, they would come to be known as Charon's Obol, or as coins for the ferryman. Some placed coins in the mouths of their dead, hoping they would awaken here, though they had no way of knowing which coins were fashioned from the original tokens. In fact, almost all of the tokens are accounted for, only 2 remain. And so after this wave destroys itself, as it is destined to do, your kind will have squandered the last of its potential to ascend beyond this rock, and Persephone along with it. It is a regrettable story. One of the first men who came to this place was a king of Sumer.
Царь Шумира.
To be rid of him, I returned him to his people, on the condition that my servant erased his memories of this place. But the erasure did not take completely, and he told stories of this place as if describing memories of a dream. His tales were committed to writing, which came to be known as the
Гильгамеш. О, да.
Twisted and distorted over generations. Later, the Egyptians would adapt Sumer's stories of the underworld, making them wildly intricate and labyrinthine. Their Book of the Dead and Book of Gates bore less and less resemblance to this place in their priests' pursuit of profit. Then, when the Greeks began to arrive, they proved far more cunning. And in a series of incidents that will not be repeated, 5 of them escaped. A warrior named Heracles, 2 kings named Sisyphus and Theseus, a poet named Orpheus, and a Trojan named Aeneas. They each told embellished tales of this place, how to get here, and how to escape. And so from Sumer to Egypt, Greece to Rome, your kind has always told each other stories about this place, though each story contained only a seed of truth. Of course. That is merely the name your people have given to it, but yes, it is my doing. That is a story dating back to the very first wave. After the Sumerians finished building their city, the self-declared ruler threw a banquet to celebrate. Now this man was unmarried, and many women were vying to become his wife. Prestigious position, power and influence in a new world. Of all the women, 2 were particularly ambitious. Both were beautiful, and both arrived at the banquet wearing eye-catching dresses and painted faces, their hair woven in elaborate fashion. The first woman, recognizing that she would require an advantage to win the ruler's affection, draped herself in jewelry, ornate necklaces, bracelets and rings fashioned from gold. Seeing this ostentatious display, the second woman grew envious, for she had no such jewelry at her disposal. She prayed aloud to any gods that would listen to cover her in gold. And when her prayer went unanswered, she took matters into her own hands. While the others indulged at the banquet, the second woman summoned the first for a discussion.
Прокачай все.
She checked that nobody was watching.
Почему все не прокачать?
From the top of the ziggurat where she broke her neck on the rocks below. But I was watching, and I decided to answer her prayer. I took the golden bow left behind by Diana, and I shot that woman in the heart, covering her from head to toe in a layer of molten gold. And I left her to stand there. She might serve as a grim reminder of what
Ну, бывает такое.
But that was not enough. The entire city was tainted
Почему бы
by
нет?
her sin, and the wager could no longer be won. So I had no choice but to wipe the slate clean. I gilded them all to make way for a new wave.
Вообще хочу Т-72Б обе штуки, но лагает на танках.
And all who came after
Беда.
lined the halls of this city.
Вот беда. А чё не леопард, а? Леопард же круче, не?
Time with only their sight and hearing preserved, so they may bear witness to and lament the folly of your kind for eternity, the silent golden sentinels.
Керри. Он то круче, но Т-72Б красивый.
Красивый. Понятно.
Керри. И тунгуску хочу.
Да ты шо? Ах. Только в этой игре в тундре что-то качаться долго, прям вообще Unreal, блин.
I give your kind a second chance at life, as well as ample warning about my law. And when you disobey, and you always disobey, you force my hand, bringing terrible suffering upon yourself.
Вообще до Т-72Б и Тунгуски очень мало осталось.
Ну, взял к тебе.
When my kin departed, they left behind many relics which I inherited. A consolation prize of sorts. The golden bow originally belonged to one of my kin, who the Romans called Diana. As my collection of golden statues grew, I chose the most ferocious among them and equipped them each with a duplicate of her bow.
До Т-72Б2 танка исследовать и купить, и до Тунгуски вроде сколько же.
Эх. Блин, я вообще хотел зайти в другую танковую игру. Там надо сделать кое-что.
No attempt to lay out rules like your Code of Hammurabi or your 12 Tables of the Roman Republic can ever cover all possible scenarios. This should come as no surprise.
Картошка. Картошка, поесть надо немножко, да.
The Egyptians made a rudimentary attempt with do to the doer to make him do. The Greeks refined it with avoid doing what you would blame others for doing. The Roman Stoics added treat your inferior as you would wish your superior to treat you. Even the so-called cultists hiding among you often say, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. It is the simplest of concepts, and each one of you is born with the faculties.
Там надо задачки сделать, получить Арнольда себе в командиры. Но то я не сделал. Блин, задолбал он разговаривает, чел.
Твердый знак. Керри.
Enough. You clearly know nothing. I'm able to commune with all of the statues in the city. Their ears are my ears, and their eyes are my eyes.
Керри. Ну скачал, зашел, получил танк и удалил картошку.
Зря, зря, зря.
If she was still conscious, I suppose she could, but she's not. Why do you ask? Then what an odd question. Do you plan to speak in sweeping generalizations? Or are you going to give me this?
Ну не люблю я такое, как картошка.
Ну, оно как бы тоже неплохо. Ну там... Самый главный минус это... Арта и...
Я к тундре привык.
Я понимаю, что ты привык к тундре. Я-то он 11 лет проиграл в сраную картошку. Она просто с каждым патчем хуже становится. По факту. Пока, ну, за этот год там пытались сделать новые перки, но алкаши местные не решились на них, потому что страшно стало.
I've seen no such thing, but in any case, taking one's own life is a self-directed act. Therefore, it cannot be said that one who commits suicide
Керри. Картошка опять обосралась.
Supposing you're right, and my law has been broken, and I should turn... Now tell me. Ah, the tavern keeper, yes. How is that inconsistent? I disagree. Having watched that tavern keeper, that
А
is
тундра с
precisely...
серверами ничего не может сделать.
Ну да, вот эти вот двигание танков не очень-то ж кайфово.
Applying this rule always requires speculation to some degree. It requires us to ask what another person would want if they found themselves in another. Not if we're wise enough to know the mind of man. Supposing you're right, then my law has been broken, and then your desire to be right outweighs your desire to survive. You will make a fine statue.
Вот, блин, я, конечно, запорол бы все. Ладно, ставим золотой.
Do you really think you can wound me, a god, with that primitive weapon? How dare you threaten her?
Кири,
This ends now.
быдло перед тобой.
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
Ну чё, где она? Аран.
Кири. Нео.
Да, еще тот. Ну, тактика проста. Ай, попал. Давай. Так, корону мы взяли, это очень интересно, блин. Что нам корона даст? Чтобы видеть к цели.
Кири. Чё ты зи?
Но тут сложности особо-то и нет.
Salve, friend.
Не,
All right then.
ладно. Интересно, там открыто? Или мне она обратно все таблички собирать будет? Конечно, вопрос.
Кири. Это мод на Skyrim.
Ну да, это мод на Skyrim, но он, блядь, в отдельной игрой. Но он отдельной игрой.
Кири. Я помню, проходил Skyrim, надоело и удалил.
А я не проходил Skyrim.
Пришел до середины.
Я даже не играл в него, когда он там был.
Кири. В целом игра прикольная.
Не, ну игра, то понятно, что она классная. Ее бы столько раз не переиздавали, было бы она хреновой.
And here you are. No girl to the Cimmerian. And I've been... And what? There will be time first.
Так. Давай брось.
I would recognize that anywhere. And yet my beloved still wears hers. What is this? How did you come by it?
Керри. Вспомнил из портала 2 концовку «Я в космосе».
You vile, despicable creature. Why would you do such a thing? And worse still, boast about it. You have put me in an impossible position. If I refuse, you will murder her. And yet, if I agree, I will lose my wager and return to Elysium, humiliated and alone. Perhaps you are cleverer than you appear. I do not see that I have a choice in this. Your treachery and savagery have opened my eyes like nothing I have witnessed in 3,000
Обыграл и уничтожил.
Да, все верно.
True colors. And I see that Persephone was a fool to have ever believed in you at all. This has gone on too long. It is time for me to let go of this form, of her, of all of you. But know this, if I abandon the wager and leave for Elysium, neither she nor your kind may ever ascend. Very well. I will have Carol make arrangements to ferry the others. But as for you, be aware you will be separated from the rest. Once this exodus begins, the events that brought you to this moment will never have taken place. And you will have created a paradox. What will become of you is difficult to predict, but that is the risk you have taken by interfering in the natural flow.
Ох, блин.
Now, are you ready? You had best pray our paths never cross again, mortal.
Керри. Забудь.
Oh. Hi there. Gave me a bit of a fright. Thought I was in here alone. Well, here I am. Know who you are. I barely remember how I got here. Oh, did that lady in the forest send you in here after me? I guess I lost track of time, learning about the history of this place. I'm fairly certain you and I are the first people to set foot in this. Fortunately for us, the last person in here was a Roman man named Galerius, who inscribed an account into a tablet. Apparently there was a community of 20-something people trapped in here, and living in fear of a curse they called the Golden. They believed that if even one person sinned, an unknown god would cast them all into gold, like the Then, one day, just as Galerius had finished praying for a good harvest at the shrine of an oracle appeared, said barely a word, and entered the temple of the mysterious god, this one here, and demanded an audience. And the doors just opened up to him. Nobody knows what went on in there, but Galerius wrote the oracle must have been more persuasive than Odysseus, because the next thing he knew, the ground shook, and the voice of that god rang out over the city. The many have suffered long enough. Unfortunately, Galerius' account just sort of stops after that, leaving alone. What became of him, and the other people who lived here? What happened to all the golden statues? And did this mysterious oracle single-handedly undo the curse that had terrorized people for hundreds of years? What? Oh, anyway, I think I found a way out through the aqueduct that brought water into the city.
Я за тобой.
You go on.
Блин, что за прикол?
You're back! But... Oh, why don't you tell me what you discovered while we wait? Ah, I see. I thought you might. Well, now you know. I suppose you have questions.
Так я знаю.
You can just call me Carol. I did that. That you got my... Most ask... A what? It means there is nobody else to ferry here. Nobody. Perhaps you have heard the tales of the Greeks and Romans. It means there is no... I see no point in keeping you here. But I have to ask one thing.
Вот
That
и
you
Эль.
keep this
Эль.
to yourself.
Эль.
Look! Here comes Al now. Al! It's so good to see you. You were gone so long I thought I'd never see you again.
Kinda lost track of time in there. You wouldn't believe, and there was a tap.
Sounds like quite a... You two look exhausted.
Sounds good.
And you?
Так, точно, у нас еще одна концовка. А, год спустя даже, ого.
Керри. Давай мягкий знак, я читаю, подожди.
After everything you've been through,
Так
I
там
thought you
уже
might
все
appreciate
было.
some good news. So
Ладно.
after we got back to the real world, I started doing some research into the people mentioned in Galerius' tablet, and I found something strange. I'm sorry I've been so cryptic. I've been dying to tell you. I just really wanted you to see this for yourself.
И что ж
Why
ты
don't you
хочешь
head on
показать,
down?
Эл?
I'll catch up with you at the other
Це.
end.
Oh, there he is.
Галерий. Итакия.
You're finally here. Remember me? It's a crazy story. After you disappeared, Karen appeared and told us she was returning us to the world. Even gave us some coins to help us start our lives over.
Давай
Only, for
побалуемся
some reason,
спотом.
she returned us to your
Не,
world
давай не
instead of
будем.
ours. Anyway, I know we only ever had that one conversation, and I wasn't even sure if you'd remember me, but I wanted to say thanks for freeing us from the underworld and giving us a second chance at life.
Давай.
Не.
I know. I can't believe my luck either. But we're engaged and we're planning to get married next spring. If you're gonna be Oh, I used Karen's gift to buy a farm in Umbria. Got a villa on it too, with enough room for Dooley, of course. It's hard work, but I sleep soundly every night. I'm finally my own man, and I wouldn't change it for the world. Of course, there's a whole museum full of people waiting for a chance to thank you. So you...
Спит.
You're here. It's lovely to find... So, you're the hero who somehow vanquished the last of the Roman gods. As I'm a priestess, you realize you've put me
Келли.
out of work. I'm just
На каком
teasing.
языке
Actually,
они
and it
говорят?
still feels a little sacrilegious to say this.
На английском.
I'm finding life after religion quite enjoyable. Oh, it's sweet of you to ask. She recovered nicely. In fact, see you at the wedding.
Увидимся на свадьбе. Дули.
Hello, I'm Dooley.
Здорово, Дули.
Galerius said
Келли.
you're very nice. And the
Не
people,
похоже.
thank you for getting us out of the bad place.
Не, на английском. Вот, ща. Ну, тут похоже. Может там погромче сделать на стриме. Не знаю.
I live at Galerius and Equitia's house. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Hey.
Evening.
Ты что, с всем поговорить?
Do you speak English, motherfucker?
Do you speak English?
You are here. It's nice to finally meet you. Lucy is fine. I'm making an effort to blend in, as you can see. We are all trying to keep a low profile. If the world knew we died 2,000 years ago and were suddenly brought back to life 12 months ago, they'd never leave us alone. Speaking of which, I wanted to say thank you in person. I'd say the gods smile on you, but I hear you drove the last of them off. So... I'm studying to get into medical school. As much as I resented the responsibility of keeping Ev, when it ended, I realized I missed it. So I guess I'll just keep saving the world, if begrudgingly, one patient at a time. Oh, she didn't make it. She died from poison while you were in the Great Temple.
Надо было раздать галерию задание, блин. Не самая лучшая концовка получается, я немного запорол.
It wasn't your fault. Decius is to blame. He's here somewhere too. Not that anyone would talk to
Я
him.
немного запорол,
I'm not
получается.
even sure how he got invited.
Хреново.
You too. Don't.
Hi there, I'm Horatius. I understand we have you to thank for giving us a second chance at life. And reunion. I'm living up north and studying in the military academy in Modena. The world's changed a lot. But some things stay the same. Would you believe we're still studying military tactics from my time? Alexander the Great, Caesar, Hannibal Barca. Still, I have to keep challenging myself to let go of old ways of thinking and embrace the new. As Seneca wrote, the ones who pioneered our paths aren't our masters, but our guides. Ah, you remembered that. Thank you. In the words of Epictetus, as those
Да,
who
это, конечно, я
remind
запорол,
yourself
блядь.
your precious one isn't one of your possessions. Thanks. He's not my... Oh, I see what you did there. Good one. He had more trouble adapting than most. He got himself disqualified from the UFC. So he started some kind of underground blood sport tournament, like we had in Rome. Suppose it appealed to people's baser instincts. And they say he made some good coin, killing a bunch of men like that. But his luck finally ran out, and his life along with it. You know what they say. Live by the sword, die by the sword. You're not wrong. And you.
I take it you're the Oracle. Thanks for coming. Actually, I changed my name to Cynthia. I didn't want to be associated with Sentius after what happened. I'm not sure if you heard, but after you drove Pluto off, Proserpina emerged from the Great Temple. She knew right away what none of us had figured out about that psychopath. He'd been keeping my little sister locked up in the upper cistern all that time. But he's been dealt with. He's... you know what? The important thing is, we'll never see him again. Anything I want. I'm a woman of means in a vast new world. I can go wherever and do whatever I please.
Ну, это
Of course, I
возможно.
mostly just stay in my villa
Я
and
не
have my
уверен.
servant Alexa summon things for
Может,
me.
и другая основная
Because it's just
озвучка.
awful out there. Barbarians everywhere.
Не, ну, вроде в слова попадает.
He's still there, all alone. The last golden statue in the underworld. Trapped in a metal shell, slowly losing his mind until the end of time. Eternal torment. Just what he deserves, if you ask me. You too. See you.
Увидимся.
Ну так, да, в букву попала и молодец.
Greetings. I take it you're the oracle everybody's talking about. It's a we have. I'm sorry, I don't remember. In any case, I'm Philip. I never thought I'd leave that cave, let alone the city. And now I'm living in the 21st century. What a time to
Тебе
be
всех
alive.
обойти надо.
And it seems I have your catabasis.
Ну, можно со всеми поговорить. Там не так много.
I'm working as a consultant to the Faculty of Classics at Cambridge University, helping fill the odd gap in their knowledge. Not that I need the money, but I do love being around enlightened minds again. My sincere thanks.
Greetings. You must be the legendary oracle. It is a sin. I am told we have you to thank for... the poor sweet thing perished in a shrine collapse before the...
Блин, я, короче, запорол. Надо было раздать приказы этому, блин.
My friend, there is no need for you to apologize. You too...
Some soiree, innit?
Кири.
Good evening.
Ха-ха-ха, это...
Hello there.
Ah, hello at last. You must be the oracle I've heard so much about. Listen, I wanted to express my sincere appreciation for what you did. If it wasn't for you, I'd never been able to sell all those useless old...
Кири.
Whatever you did in that temple made me a very
Насилие
wealthy
на
man.
расслабоны.
Thank you.
Кири. На чили.
Such a
Да
serpent
парень
wit.
вообще.
I love it. I took the money I made from selling my trinkets and started investing in the stock market. That's where the real money is now. In fact, I was hoping to ask your advice. You being the... I can't decide between fossil fuels, tobacco, gambling and arms. Oh, don't be like that. You can tell your old pal Dacius. I won't...
Кири. Как он лежит, блин.
Не знаю, на воздухе. DVD светлое будущее.
Oh, of course, yeah. I was just thinking the same thing. I'll go home and buy up as much stock as I can. Of course, don't...
Эх, удачи, удачи тебе, братан. Ну как там лежит, блин? Ну, руки. Парень, обанкротится.
Hello there. Oh, hello. It's lovely to meet you.
I'm thankful that you're here. I was sure the person who drove off the last pagan god would have more important things to do than visit the likes of us.
Чё с рукой?
But thank you
Да с рукой там
for
все
coming
нормально.
and for saving our lives. What you... And you. Oh, and I hope this isn't too forward, but some of us are going out for a drink after this, if you'd...
Кири.
Wonderful.
Посмотри.
Да там нормально.
Some soiree, innit?
Все нормально, что там, кажется.
Good evening. Greetings. Thank you for your kind words and for liberating us all. In all the time I was in the underworld, I'm recovering. Octavia was kind enough to let me stay with her for a while. Ah, you remember that. I'm a little tired of Ovid, but that's all right. I have 2,000 years worth of poetry to catch. I'm already up to the 19th century and am quite enjoying the work of a fellow named Poe. I think I may have found a kindred spirit. Men have called me mad, but the question is not yet settled.
Кири. Поскольку им лет?
Ну, они, получается, просто перенеслись. Лет им столько же, сколько и было.
And you?
It is an honor to finally meet you, Oracle. You know my name? Oh, of course. You are an oracle. You know many things. I too would like to offer my thanks for releasing us
За
from that
сколько
place
их там?
and for your role in bringing us
Да
here.
хватает, блин.
This world is truly wondrous. For a time, I returned to Alexandria, but they have no need of another fisherman, and I came to see there is nothing for me there. Instead, I have decided to follow the custom of your youths and backpack the world. It is a great adventure, and I have met many people from many cultures. I spent the first 25 years of my life avoiding the 42 sins that would deny me access to the afterlife. Now, I think it is time I had some fun. Indeed. Thank you.
Керри. Древний человек.
Hello there. Oh, I go by Gabriella now. I didn't want to be reminded of that monster every time I heard my own name. You didn't hear? My adoptive father, after you drove Pluto off, Proserpina came and released me. And that Don't worry. No. I'm living by myself on a little vineyard in Umbria. It's something Ulpius and I used to talk about doing when we got out, but it's been
Блин, понимаешь, я еще не спас троих-четверых, блин.
And it's just not the same without him. Oh,
Керри.
it's hardly your...
Чё с зубами?
Не знаю, я особо не смотрю.
Thanks.
Спасибо.
You too.
Что-то там случилось. Ну, ее не просто так держали в этом.
Hello.
Короче, ладно, давай с Сергеем еще поговорим. Надо еще переиграть.
It's so nice to finally meet you. I wanted to thank you personally for... I'm studying to be an architect again and living in a beautiful flat in Rotterdam, just down the river from Nijmegen, where I grew up. Of course, it's improved immensely since I was there last. Gleaming futuristic
Зачем ты
buildings and
его
clean
заметил,
streets,
я
full of
ха-ха.
educated, accepting people. You natives of the 21st century. You too, if you're ever in the Netherlands, I'd be happy to show you around.
Так.
There you are. I hope you enjoyed that.
Sorry if I frightened you. Just a
It's
little
okay.
joke I've been saving for a long, long time. Allow me to introduce myself properly. I am Proserpina, former goddess of the cycle of life and renewal, but now a regular mortal. I wanted to meet you in person, and thank you for freeing all these people, and me. I hate to think what would have happened to us without your intervention. Indeed. Suffice it to say that while Pluto was controlling the eyes and ears of each golden statue, I was able to control their tongues and whisper to you when he was distracted. I am sorry my messages were so cryptic. There were only ever brief windows in which I could speak to you without being detected. I did. I may have given up my immortality, but I still retain my gifts as the goddess of a cycle of life and renewal. After witnessing Pluto punish countless poor souls over thousands of years, I knew this generation, the final wave, would not survive. So I tried to give them a way to buy more time. A second chance. Rather, as many second chances. I don't know what happened to him. I haven't heard from him, and I rather... Oh, she inherited dominion over the underworld. Last time we spoke, she was working on a new world of some kind. She wouldn't say what it was, but I'd be surprised if you don't run into her again. I imagine we all will, one day. And you, although it feels like I've known you forever. Oh, and one last thing. Do you remember all those golden statues scattered throughout the city? Good, because they remember you. Well done, my friend. Of all the heroes who ever journeyed to the underworld and returned, none came close to achieving them. Hercules, Orpheus, Theseus, and Aeneas would be proud.
Ну, это самая лучшая концовка, факт. концовка 4 из 4, но я
Керри,
еще не прошел.
кинь монетку в фонтан.
Скипчик продолжить. Так, ладно, пока мы на этом закончим. Ага, скипнуть троих главных разработчиков нельзя. Теперь можно. Вам по душе, мы хотим создать.
Керри. Теперь тундра.
Тундра, так нет. Теперь не тундра, теперь надо еще Картошкин гейминг зайти. Я ж тебе не показывал свои достижения в картошкином гейминге. Так. Так, да. Тут я подсказку искал.
Оке.
Так. Весь рофл, что у меня, ну, что-то начало... У меня был настроено... Ага, класс. Класс. Драйвер упал.
Керри. Там сколько тебе сделать надо?
Да вроде бы немного, но я вот сейчас не уверен. У меня, блин, что-то драйвер упал. Он стал падать, блин, это меня раздражает. Очень сильно меня раздражает. Прям беда. Ну ладно, сейчас посмотрим, что оно будет. Вроде бы как я настраивал. Ладно, хер с ним. Давай зайдем в Картошкин гейминг. Сейчас глянем, что там надо сделать. Полнейшая беда какая-то.
Керри. Я могу МК.
В смысле МК?
Керри. Максимум скачать тест сервак картошки.
Он не запущенный, там нет ничего. Да теста сервака-то нет. Такие дела. Картошка.
Керри. В обычную скучно.
Ну, блин. Тут весь прикол, что у меня как на тесте. Лично у меня. Сейчас оно синхронизируется. Корыца это. Корыца. Так, ладно, будем надеяться, что у меня не зависнет все хера. Потому что, блядь, не радует меня такая тенденция. Так, где эти задачи? Задачи арни-шмарни. Пробить 40 раз. Уничтожить 20. Блин, такие задачки дурацкие.
Керри. У меня тоже есть из 6 чумазый.
Чумазый. Ну, везет. У меня много чего есть, но не все. Я могу тебе показать свои ветки исследований. Вот бы они были такими в тундре. Прям вообще, понял? Увы, в этой игре я больше времени провел, чем в тундре. Да. Да-да. Так, ладно. Конечно, все очень весело. Задачки, конечно, хрен сделаешь за бой. Эх, на чем бы таком прокатиться-то? Идем на ВЗ, короче, прокатимся.
Керри. Чек-чат.
Чек-чат. А, я увидел. Да, да. Ну, блин. Кто-то прокачал... Я прокачал всю игру. Просто скачаться стало очень легко. Ну, прям очень. В Тундре намного сложнее. Прям в сравнении... Особенно, когда према нет. Прям беда какая-то.
Керри. У меня наоборот.
У тебя наоборот, ну, бывает такое. Бывает такое.
Керри. Откуда столько золота?
Золото насобирал, наоткрывал. Спасибо, братан, что ты решил выкупить. Передо мной, блядь. Чел такой, чел. Опа. Он, естественно, меня прислал.
Керри. А прем танков.
Там бесплатно что можно теперь получать. Прям, понял, там типа реферальная система, типа бесплатно можно вообще получать. А как мимо упало? Что за бред? А, печать какая-то.
Керри.
Так. Может, он вылез? Ну это разлеты снарядов куда хочешь. Это так меня бесит, блядь. Блядь, все прекрасно. Ну вот. И куда оно все делось, непонятно. Все, трупик сел. Я вообще в этом не верю. Ну, хотя возможно. Игра просто не такая хорошая. Могла бы быть.
Керри. Картошка наша игра.
Само там херачит. Херачит и не светится. Что тебе надо? Я перезаряжаюсь, господи. Такие челы злые. Такие злые, такие агрессивные. Просто запей, блин. Конечно, как же не быть злым, если снаряды летят куда хотят? Вот это самая большая беда, меня очень бесит. Очень бесит, что, ну, я с полным сведением стреляю, а снаряд летит куда хочет. Не куда я хочу, куда он хочет.
Керри. А Калибан?
Не, Калибана нет. Я открывал коробки, но мне не повезло. У меня за 20 коробок ничего не выпало, прям неудача. Я решил, что Витя недостоин моих денег. Учитывая, что и деньги были не мои. Танк хороший. Жалко, у вас в Тундре такого нет. Ну вот, чмо развернула и кинула мне просто сверху. А я потею, свожусь. У меня команда вся долбнет. Прям беда, блядь, честно говоря. Спать. У меня один снаряд зарядился. Да. Бить его, блядь. Блять, ну это просто забей, блядь. Пан проснулся и кинул.
Керри. Я в Блиц играю.
Хорошая игра. На самом деле не очень. Такая же не очень, как и все они. Как и все эти танковые игры. Блять, да ты чё гонишь? Ты сюда будешь смотреть? Чуть-чуть. Блять, мимо стоит. Ладно, тут сам виноват. Играемся. Господин, ну что это? Блять, ну броня откуда делась. Да едь, давай, что я размениваюсь? ХП, у тебя ХП много, давай, воюй, блять. Чухан, мы сейчас придем, блять. Мне, блять, мусор пробивает. Просто так.
Керри. Вот на десятках я хорошо играю, а что ниже не умею.
Ой, бывает. В этой жизни. Ну, это очень много зависит от союзников. Прям намного больше, чем в Тундре. Шет, блядь. Мало. Я рикошет пошел. Стрёмно.
Керри. В Блице на 50 Б по 7 урона практически каждый бой.
Там, мне кажется, на бэшке проще, чем где-либо. Ошибаюсь. Начнется. Да, понятно, где конвой стоит. Конвой, да понятно, где стоит. Там 600 ебал, блядь, нахуй. Сука, люблю играть в эти игры. 600 начала лететь. Он тут стоит, блядь, ему хер что сделаешь, блядь. А. Повстаю. Ладно. Блин, там все ваншотное. Так. И раздаю. Блядь, ну я попадал. Чела, точно. Перезаряжаемся дальше.
Керри. 300 IQ.
А ты думала? Эх, ваншотный конвой с одним хп, блин, дает 600. Есть у кого-то? Леха. Надо было скинуть. Промахнулся еще. Да убей ты его. Попадание. Блять. Похеру, не хочу ехать за ним. Нелли. Попадание. Чисто попадание. Вот беда.
Вы приглашены во взвод. Взвод сформирован.
Эх. Чудесно. Прям чудесно. Так. Стрелякал. Чутка настрелякал.
Керри. Классный бой.
Бой классный. Союзники классные. Я мог быть лучше, но я засветился. Чел мне дает. Я наряжаю на 25 хп. Урон у меня сколько? А, урон у меня больше. Один блайн то залетел в этого чела. Блайн то залетел.
Керри. Стоц. Керри. Давай на арте.
Не хочу я на арте играть. Чего вам всем арта нужна, господи? Какие вы все артоводы, блин, поганые. Любители, чтобы я посливался статку на арте, блин. Есть у меня пару полу. 2 звездочки на арте. Ну, что ты меня хочешь, что? Знаешь, почему у меня не исследована арта?
4005.
4005. Ладно, ради... Вот,
Керри.
арта 4005 можно.
Ахахахахах.
Вот, у меня он такая арта 4005, он целый паровоз, блин. Поехали с кота. Неплохая арта. Кстати, надо поменять игру на Твиче. Паровоз, паровоз, покажи, где был босс. Так, ладно. Сейчас пытать кому-то пробитие. Было бы круто. Еще бы если меня зарезало в другую сторону, было бы вообще шикарно.
Керри. Твоя задача нажмыхать 6 к урона, если не получается, то еще раз на 4005 эть.
Не, так не работает. У меня не удастся нажмыхать урона. Он на ВЗ повезло и все, и я очень рад. 7 косарей урона в нубочке. Еще повезло, что в нубочке он настрелял. Зная себя, в нубочке можно было не настрелять. Вообще ничего.
5.
Я б с радостью, но увы. Тело мимо. Еще не подсветится, блин. Печально. Кроме ДБР, чего?
Керри. Прикинь, на 1700 залетело.
Я уверен, что не залетело. Сейчас по ББшечку. 125. Тут же фугасы переделали, блин. Теперь они работают не как раньше. ББшечки не было. Так обидно. Я знал, что он едет. Ладно, есть еще 10 секунд. Если он еще 10 секунд постоит. Так, еще пробить же надо. Ну как? Ну тут везде броня получилась, да? Я не понимаю. Ну угол хороший для него, да? Ну нет. Это он в этот момент решает повернуться, стать так. Какой чел ужасный, господи. Ну чел, ну чё ты такой в своем тайпе? А, теперь он ваншотный, блядь.
Только фугасом.
Да фугасом там вообще, он видел 200 урона фугасом. Я целился еще. Толку нет. Леопард, правда, ваншотный катается. Заставляет задуматься. Было 800. Мне 800. Я даю 1000. Жиза. Везде опасно.
Керри. В Блице и 4005 барабан на 3 снаряда по 400 урона.
Ну, увы. Видишь, не все может быть хорошо. Ага. Ползает.